Mexico faces a national tragedy, one that has shaken the nation to its core and left countless families searching for answers. After relentless storms claimed at least 44 lives as of October 12, 2025, the country is left reeling from the scale of the disaster and the heartbreak it has caused. Torrential rains swept through central and eastern Mexico, unleashing chaos and destruction in their wake, as entire neighborhoods were submerged and daily life was brought to a standstill. Landslides buried homes. Rivers overflowed their banks, and entire communities were left in mourning, struggling to comprehend the scale of their loss. Veracruz, Hidalgo, and Puebla were hit hardest, accounting for most of the deaths and bearing the brunt of the devastation. The storm struck with little warning, catching families off guard and forcing desperate escapes in the middle of the night as water levels rose with terrifying speed. Stories from the disaster zones reveal last-minute evacuations, families separated in the chaos, and heartbreaking losses that will haunt survivors for years to come. The emotional scars will linger long after the floodwaters recede, as survivors grapple with grief, uncertainty, and the daunting task of rebuilding their lives. Across Mexico, there's a shared sense of loss and solidarity, as communities come together to support one another and begin the long road to recovery. This is not just a regional crisis, it's a national reckoning with the realities of extreme weather, climate change, and the urgent need for resilience. The tragedy forces urgent questions about preparedness, the safety of vulnerable communities, and how Mexico can better protect its people in the face of future storms. The destruction was caused by two tropical storms, Priscilla and Raymond, that converged on Mexico, unleashing days of torrential rain. Priscilla drenched the east, followed by Raymond, overwhelming defenses and triggering catastrophic flooding and landslides. 5 states, including Veracruz, Hidalgo, Puebla, Querétaro, and San Luis Potosí, were severely affected. In the mountains, mudslides buried villages. In lowlands, rivers surged through towns. Infrastructure crumbled, bridges collapsed, roads vanished, and emergency access was cut off. Scientists warn that warmer oceans fuel such intense storms, making events like this more likely. This disaster shows how multiple storms can combine to create devastation far beyond what one alone could cause. President Claudia Sheinbaum's government launched a rapid, coordinated response to the crisis. A national emergency committee was activated, working around the clock with state and federal agencies. The military led rescue operations, reaching isolated communities and evacuating stranded residents. Emergency shelters opened for thousands displaced, while convoys delivered food, water, and medicine. Soldiers braved floodwaters to save lives, often being the first to reach those in need. The government's swift action prevented further loss of life and provided critical relief. Recovery logistics remain daunting, but the commitment to support affected communities is clear. The groundwork is being laid for a long, challenging recovery. Behind the numbers are stories of terror, loss, and resilience, real people whose lives have been forever changed by disaster. In Costa Rica, families watched in disbelief as floodwaters consumed their homes in mere minutes, leaving them with little time to react or save cherished belongings. Teachers and neighbors scrambled desperately to save what they could as classrooms filled with thick, suffocating mud, trying to salvage books, supplies, and memories. Many escaped with only the clothes on their backs, some rescued from rooftops after hours in the relentless rain, clinging to hope as they waited for help. The aftermath reveals entire neighborhoods buried in mud, cars overturned and destroyed, and lives upended in ways that will take years to rebuild. The emotional toll is immense. People mourn lost homes, livelihoods, and loved ones, facing an uncertain future with heavy hearts. Yet, in the face of devastation, communities are coming together. Neighbors help neighbors, volunteers bring aid, and hope persists even in the darkest moments. Grassroots solidarity is driving recovery as much as official support, with local groups and volunteers working tirelessly to rebuild what was lost. The path ahead is long and uncertain, but the determination and courage of survivors shines through every act of rebuilding and every shared moment of hope. Their resilience and unity offer hope for rebuilding, healing, and a brighter future for all those affected. The devastation left behind by hurricanes Priscilla and Raymond is not an isolated incident, but part of a growing global pattern of increasingly severe storms, all closely linked to the accelerating impacts of climate change. Around the world, communities are facing storms that are stronger, wetter, and more destructive than ever before. As ocean temperatures rise, they provide more energy for storms, fueling hurricanes that carry heavier rainfall and more powerful winds. What might once have been manageable weather events are now turning into catastrophic disasters, overwhelming cities and rural areas alike. Mexico's unique geography, with its long coastlines and mountainous terrain, makes it especially vulnerable to both hurricanes and the deadly landslides that often follow in their wake. This ongoing crisis highlights the urgent need for resilient infrastructure, improved flood defenses, and better early warning systems to protect lives and property before disaster strikes. Future administrations must shift their focus from simply reacting to disasters to proactively building resilience and preparing communities long before storms arrive. Land use policies, reforestation, and climate adaptation projects are no longer optional. They are now matters of survival for millions of people. The tragedy unfolding is a wake-up call for the world. Fighting climate change is essential if we hope to prevent even greater loss and suffering in the future. The resilience and determination of affected communities inspire hope, but true progress will come only when prevention and climate action become our top priorities.